This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors.
I want to spend just a few moments. If you've been listening to the show for a long time, you know this is a topic that's very, very important, but we need to touch on it periodically and remind people of how important it is to be careful and cautious about wire fraud. And Rick, what can they do to avoid wire fraud? What is the things that a buyer or seller need to do to avoid wire fraud in a real estate transaction? Let me preface that before you start. I have to preface it by saying there are people watching your emails all the time. You don't know it. They're not going to bother you. They're waiting for you to get involved in a real estate transaction.
Large dollar transaction.
They want the big numbers. And when they see it, that's when they act. And so having said that, Rick, tell us what we can do to avoid that problem.
So one of the things is verification. And I think that's probably the biggest, safest thing that you can do. And what I mean by that is somebody is going to give you, maybe you're buying an expensive car or your down payment on your house to close escrow, or maybe it's a financial transactions where you're going to invest in something. So they're going to give you wiring instructions, and they're probably going to email them to you because everyone does email these days. And they're probably going to come unsecured because believe it or not, there's not a lot of places out there where you can secure things. You can do, PDF password or things like that. But most of the time, it's probably going to come unsecured unless you're dealing with a large reputable company. It doesn't matter even if they're secured or unsecured. The first thing you need to do is pick up the phone, call the sender who sent you the wiring instructions, and verify them. Have them read it to you, and you verify on the page that it's matching. Okay? And
call the number not the number in the email.
Right.
Okay.
Call the number you know. Make sure you're talking to them. Ask them some qualifying questions. Are you handling my transaction? Yes. What's the address? Let them tell you the address. You tell them something. There's dialogue that needs to go back and forth. But the main point is you have to verify those wiring instructions.
Great advice.
The other thing is on your emails, and Harvey, you said it. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where there's a lot of bad guys out there, and they're hiding behind the internet. And what they do is they somehow, during some point of time, when you clicked on that ad or you clicked on that weird email that you probably knew you shouldn't click on, nothing happened when you did it, but it opened the door for one of their, call it a virus, call it one of the Trojan horses or whatever they use to watch you. And that's what they're doing. They're watching email addresses, and they're scanning for keywords that are people buying something or wiring instructions or large dollar amounts. So you need to be very, very careful. But the main thing is verify it. The other thing too is look for some of the red flags. Some of the red flags are pretty obvious. There's never an immediate, I'm closing escrow on Friday. You have to run down there right now and send me the money today.
Yeah.
Well, today's Wednesday. I'm not closing till Friday. So anytime there's been a change in urgency is a red flag. You have to question that. Why all of a sudden do I need to do this immediately? Okay. The other thing is watch the email extensions. They're great ways to communicate, but Yahoo, Gmail, all the big guys are there for you to use their information. They're not there to secure those emails.
Right.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people do is they'll go and create an email account on a service that does not, it may match your email, but they're missing the end part. And it'll say at whoever. When there is just a change, if you're on the phone with somebody, a change in the tone of how they're talking to you. You know when you're dealing with somebody who you're sending a large amount of money to, especially for a house or for a car. You know the person you've been dealing with. Make sure you're talking to that person, and make sure that it feels right. And that's kind of weird to say, but when you're dealing with your money, what feels right and what doesn't. The other thing too, real quick, is don't take them from a third party.
Yeah.
Don't get them from a middle person. And I know, and sometimes agents will want, send me the instructions and I'll get them. No, don't do that.
Our broker won't even allow us to do that.
Get them directly from the person you're sending the money to.
Yeah. You've been listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now. If you ever have a question about real estate or any of the other topics we cover, just call me off air or text me at 702-203-1165. You can also check us out on the web at lvrealestateradio.com or on our handle on social media at LV Real Estate Radio. We'll meet you on the radio next Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, the Talk of Las Vegas.